The next poem we look at is The Horse Whisperer, which is a really interesting poem. So we start with the structure then, and obviously you've got enjambment and caesura to kind of build the rhythm out throughout and obviously keep us interested. So we actually have the idea here of something being restless and actually draws. And the caesura here kind of makes us stop in the middle, so we actually know that a kind of a change in time is coming. And obviously stop in the middle, maybe it's the stop in reflecting the stop in the middle of what he's doing and where he's what he's going through, for example. The stanzas are very irregular, and basically they're irregular, first of all, because it's just a reflection actually is what's going on. It's like a memory being cast. But then as you look through it, there is an argument to be had where I think this one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it goes 9, 8, 7, 6, 4. So it's kind of like closing in, closing in, closing in. And maybe that's a reflection on his usage. Maybe he's less and less useful in this society that he was in, or has less and less of a place, should I say. So that's kind of an idea of him closing in, or maybe feeling hemmed in, because ultimately he has to run away at the end of the poem. It's set over time, so we obviously have the memories of what's happening at the beginning, and then obviously we've got a very different memory at the end. So we're in different places from start to finish, and obviously very different states of mind. So that's really interesting, the structure as well, to show that change over time. Meaning then, well, it's a relationship with nature, and obviously a relationship with horses, etc., and how he used to do his job, and obviously how he used to control horses, and obviously it's a dying art or a lost art, so it's really interesting to highlight. Talk about people's reactions to things and superstition. So basically, it's like obviously it's a witch hunt, but it's a horrible defamation of character. Basically when they don't really need him anymore, all of a sudden here he's kind of kicked out of the village as some kind of strange magical power. Now that technology comes in, and you got to ask yourself a lot about kind of modern healing and medicine, etc. It might get you thinking about that as well. So basically, and this is all about people's reactions to things. Obviously, now they've got something better coming in, they're just straight away out with the old, which is maybe not the right way to actually treat people. So obviously you've got the idea of change there. So obviously it's changed several times. First of all, there's the change in the horses, how he actually manages to calm them, and then he actually manages them to get to do what he wants to do. Then there's the actual change in how they actually go about doing different things, and what they need the horses for, the change there as well. And then you've also got the change in his ideas and what he's actually doing with regards to now how he's actually trying to what his place in society is, what he's actually doing, and obviously how they treat him. And then obviously like him change going somewhere else with people like himself, obviously moving on to countries far from where obviously he originally started, perhaps doing different jobs as well, or maybe the country's far from it. Maybe he has to go to poorer countries to actually apply the same trade, or places that can't actually afford the technological revolution, or hasn't yet had the technological revolution that's occurred. And obviously one of the smaller meanings we have here is the revenge, and then basically obviously the way he tries here to actually punish the people in the town for what they've done to him. So the images that we actually get, obviously we get the images of which he uses to tame the horses. Obviously it's quite delicately put together and quite unique, a concoction of things. We've got the horses themselves. Obviously that's really interesting. Here their shimmering muscles, etc. It kind of really gives you all beauty and strength, and then their snorting and their restlessness. It really brings them to life. And the image as well, we get the real kind of feel of memory. Obviously, still I miss them, and then we've got this wistful field, and either these be names or types of breed of horse that that he's actually kind of remembering there, and obviously this is kind of a warm memory for him, and that's compounded by the short sentence of still I miss them. We've also got the language then. We kind of really highlights the other excuse me, it really highlights the other. It's got the break there in they, talking about who it was that actually treated him in a certain way, and it's kind of very kind of dismissive and not very kind of popular, etc. And then we've got the descriptions all the way through, obviously explaining exactly what it was that had happened to him. And again, like the descriptions that are up here, especially in the first stanza, they're quite detailed, and again in the second stanza, and all that is actually to really kind of convey to the reader a real sense of where they are and a real sense of what's going on, obviously to make the meanings and images stronger as well. And then with the language, you've got quite sensory description of the smells. Obviously here you have kind of like the idea of the muscles shimmering, and The horse is snorting, so obviously that's sound, and then you've got smells here as well. So it's quite a nice variation of all the different sensory ideas. And then the names of horses. I mean, this is an interesting point that you could develop. I don't go too far with it, but here the fact that he mentions these kind of names or breeds down here, obviously, and he doesn't mention any of the people, etc. It kind of shows what was more important to him. And obviously, that's clear from the evidence of the one I missed. But the fact that he names them and they're just whereas the people are just referred to as they, then obviously that kind of hints at his final feel towards them. Obviously, there's and then moving on, then you've got the idea then of what this actually promotes for us. Well, it makes us think about technology and how technology actually changes people's jobs. I mean, I actually sit here making these videos, and I wonder, like, sometime in the future, maybe 50 years, this is how education will be. There'll be a load of recorded videos. Students sit in a room. They have to just clock in, clock out. Horrible thought, really. Really soulless, horrible thought. Maybe I should stop. But that's the idea there. Technology changes so many things. I mean, you look at so many industries where people lose jobs just because machines make it more efficient, but then machines make it more soulless as well. And if you don't believe me, go and try a sandwich from produced in a factory, and go and try a sandwich that someone's made themselves. Effects as well, the depths that people will sink to, obviously. So here the people wanted to change, and maybe it's become more cost effective for them. So what they actually go and do is they kind of scream this person out as a kind of witch, and obviously the depths he sinks to as well, looking for revenge, which isn't really what ideally you would expect someone to do, but you can understand in this case perhaps why this person done it. And then this gives us the idea as well of travel. He's left here and he's kind of going away. He's left here and he's going away, so he's going somewhere else. I mean, is he going somewhere else for money, or is he going somewhere else just to get away? So it gives the idea of economic migrants, and when we meet a lot of people in our day-to-day lives who we know who've come from abroad, or who travel abroad for different economic reasons, and obviously in this case a little bit of safety as well, just kind of makes us understand a little bit more about their lives.